Welcome to the CIBER Pedagogy series. My name is Roberto Garcia.
And I am Tatiana Kolovu.
This video will give you information about the GlobeSmart Country Information Tool.
What is GlobeSmart, Roberto?
Tatiana, GlobeSmart is a very useful online learning tool which has cultural information on almost 100 countries. Mm-hmm. It's actually a company tool, but Indiana University has an enterprise license, which means that every faculty, staff, and student at Indiana University has free access.
That's great. What's your area of teaching?
So I teach a number of international business courses. I cover cross-cultural courses, and I teach courses where I prepare students to go abroad on short-term and long-term study abroad.
So this is all at Indiana University, obviously.
Yes,
and
yes.
What's the makeup of your course? Who is in your class?
Well, as you know, the student body is very diverse. Mm-hmm. The course I'm teaching right now has students from 18 different countries. You see the numbers here, quite a few countries represented, and then students from a number of countries. If we were to look at the map of the world, you'd see that we have most parts of the world covered here in terms of our student body.
Well, you don't have any Greek students, that's where I'm from, but I know from using the tool myself, it's very accurate as it represents at least most all of the countries, over nearly 100 countries, as we said.
Very useful.
So all of these students from these different countries use information from GlobeSmart, but give me a specific example of a project that you use in your class.
Sure. So GlobeSmart is a very practical tool, right? So here's the kind of information my students can find. So suppose I wanted them to do some research on a number of countries. Mm-hmm. One thing they could find very quickly is what are China's core values and how do those compare to those of the United States, okay? How important is group orientation in South Korea? How should I tailor my presentation to a Japanese audience, right? How does the speed of decision making differ in Germany versus the United States? How important is relationship building in Brazil before getting down to business? How do Indians navigate conflict and tension in a social setting? And what are some small talk conversation topics to use or to avoid if I am visiting with folks in Turkey?
That's very interesting. Give me, maybe hone in specifically on a class project that you would ask them to pull together.
So in several of my courses, I assign a report called a country analysis, right? Very useful because what it does is it helps students understand the cultural environment, the political environment, the economic environment of a country, right, before going there. So let's say I'm taking a group of students to Brazil, right? Here's the information that we can find very quickly. The brief history and the type of government and demographic background of Brazil, Brazil's core values and implications for business, what are the basic protocol issues in Brazil, what are the tips for communicating with Brazilians, the appropriate conversation topics with Brazilians, how to establish credibility, how to build relationships with Brazilians. And if I wanted to download this information and keep it for the report or for later use, how could I download information from GlobeSmart and keep it, let's say, in a PDF document and store it?
Great. So this is all in here, right? So
yes.
Where do you begin?
So this is the home screen for GlobeSmart. You can see here that GlobeSmart is now tailored to the Indiana University
and this
site.
is your specific
This
profile?
is my specific site with my picture. And go back for a minute. There are two main features. One is the GlobeSmart profile, which we will cover in another video. Now we would go to GlobeSmart here, which is the country information tool. You see here that the countries that have information in GlobeSmart are organized in regions, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we're going to Brazil, and here is my personal profile. What you're going to see from here on is anytime you enter a country, the country's profile shows up in comparison.
This is your profile.
This is my profile.
And you did that first by entering and answering questions.
It's a short survey that every user would have to complete, and that therefore it allows you to understand your own personal profile. So we're going to go to the Americas. And now we're in the Brazil page, and you see several useful features, the map of Brazil, the local time in Brazil, multimedia, video explanations, and all kinds of stuff about Brazil. Some nice pictures that represent important aspects of the country. Here now we see Brazil's profile in comparison to mine.
To you.
See
That's very interesting.
Quite a
Great.
difference. And then these topics here are all drop-down menus, and that's where the students would go to find the information.
So, for example, culture and customs, this is very interesting because it gives you a quick executive summary of history that everyone should know.
So the first topic we talked about was where do you find a short history of Brazil, where's the demographic information, the type of government it has, and the demographics, language, and religion. If you'll click, you can see here how this information shows up. So ethnic demographics, the literacy rate, population of Brazil.
And they use that for the country analysis profile, but this is also useful if you're going there, right?
Yes, so if you're going to engage with Brazilians, it's good to know a few things about their country. Here, this is very useful. This section deals with the core values and implications for Brazil. So everything is tailored to explain how some cultural dimensions work on Brazil, and so it gives you a very good idea of how things work there, and you can even click on some videos. A Brazilian will give you an explanation of some of the aspects of their culture, and this is very important. This bar has implications, sometimes strategies for how to use the information to have a smoother experience with Brazilians.
So it talks about diversity variables and the concept of identity and family. That's so rich.
Yes.
As we go through again.
Here, now we can go to business protocol, and this is very rich information. How do Brazilians like to greet each other, men and women? What names and titles do they use? How do they exchange business cards? What about gift giving? What are their business hours, gestures, and body language? So many, many topics. And then, as always, advice. Here. What to do, what not to do.
This is so great. So I can just, it says print this page, or I can compare my profile. If I've never traveled, this is so valuable to have, for sure.
In a few minutes, we'll cover how to print a report. Communication styles. So a lot of traveling abroad or engaging with other folks is from other cultures is to have a smooth experience, right? To eliminate confusion or miscommunication, this information helps you stay on target, right? It tells you what to expect. You know, in Brazil, it's a high context culture. Relationships are very important. They tend to be less direct than Americans, right? And so that's what they're expecting. So we can begin to practice some of these communication styles. And then, again,
so these are general strategies for being in Brazil, and if you want to see yourself in Brazil, then you can compare the profiles as we go through. So helpful.
Appropriate conversation topics or topics that may be inappropriate. The use of humor is going to vary from country to country, so it's good to know what to expect there, what's appropriate and inappropriate.
I know you're from Mexico, I'm from Greece. I have found this to be extremely accurate, and I know they do in-country research to validate this information.
Very valuable because the information is not put there just by academics. A lot of business folks, also folks on the ground, are also adding this information, so it's very accurate.
This is helpful for
credibility, with a video explanation of what to do, how to do it, and
building relationships.
Building relationships. There are many, many drop-down menus.
Sure. And if you want to take it home.
So let's say that we don't need the information right now. We want to download it. So then we go to a topic called Build Custom Report. And then you get a large menu of all of the topics that are covered in GlobeSmart. And then you can pick and choose. Right? You hit Print General Topics. It's not actually going to print, but what it's going to do is it's going to create a PDF document. This is a screenshot of a PDF document. You can scroll down, it will be several pages long, but this PDF document can then be downloaded and stored in a drive for later use.
Wow. This is so useful, and we want to thank all of you for watching us. We have some additional PDF documents that will give you information on how to access some of these files.
And for more information about the GlobeSmart tool, please contact us at CIBER, that's CIBER, at indiana.edu.